back to another video at the J Media. My name is Justin, and this is my 2015 Mitsubishi Lancer GT.
My name is Minwin, and this is my 2013 WRX hatch.
Alright, so from the title of this video, what we're going to be doing is a quick rundown of each car. So some of you guys who watch the videos pretty often would know Min, as well as his Subaru WRX, has been featured in a couple of vlogs. We've yet to shoot a cinematic of this car, which we'll be doing pretty soon, hopefully. Min does have a few more stuff you want to, change up on the car and fix on the car before we shoot it, so look forward to that. But yeah, we're going to dive into the video. So I'm going to ask Min first. So again, this is a 2013 Subaru WRX. How long have you had the car for?
I got it last August 2018, so about a year and a couple months, year and 2 months, yeah.
Okay. And would you say this is the first like turbo car out the factory that you own, right?
Yes, it is. Yes,
okay.
It is.
So, how's the experience, owning this car? Is it a car that you've always wanted to own?
Yes, it's on my list of one of the cars I've always wanted to own, like one of my dream cars. I really did want to own this car. An opportunity came up and I had to get it. I actually wasn't even in the market for a daily, really. I was ready to just like throw all my money into my Lexus and then call it a day, and then hopefully I can, ask for rides or something like that while it's at the shop or something like that.
So
but,
Min does have a Lexus IS 300. So again, some of you OG subscribers might have seen the whole pooling, turbo, all that stuff out.
Yeah.
The car is decommissioned for now, but stay tuned. He'll be having up and running ish, hopefully pretty soon. He did say this was supposed to be a daily, but with car guys, you tend to want to do stuff to the car. So yeah, what's been a quick rundown? What's been done on the car so far?
So this is actually technically phase 2. My first phase I was just on some TN coilovers, on some Workmeisters, the same aero that I have on right now. But right now it has a black top aero, carbon front lip, black top aero, side skirts, carbon. Currently not on the car, but a various style, rear diffuser with conduit, I think, or conduit, rear spats. And the charge speed mirrors, which are pretty cool too. Engine wise, I got a Cobb big SF intake, NVIDIA catless downpipe, NVIDIA Q300 catback, tuned by Josh Dank. I Dank tuned on a Cobb Access Port V3. I think I'm making around like 180, maybe 190 on a cold day wheel. And yeah, that's pretty much it. It's pretty basic. Work CR Kawami's 18.
I was gonna say, this guy didn't mention his airbags and his
yeah.
wheels.
I'm on Airlift 3P, work wheels, CR Kawami's or CR Kai's. Yeah, 18 by 9.5 plus 38. So, not afraid to share specs and whatnot.
So Min is a huge work wheels fan. I want to talk about it later as well because I'm a huge race fan. But yeah, so there, a quick rundown of his Subaru WRX hatchback. I'm sure you said it's phase 2 right now. Do you have more big plans for it, or are you gonna kind of chill on the build for a while?
Actually, I do have another vision, I guess, of phase 3 that's definitely gonna come, and it's gonna, I guess, premiere or hopefully be finished by Springfest.
Okay.
In El Paso this next year in March. Yeah, so
nice.
Be hanging out with the low class guys, so come out with some more bang for the next show. Yeah, it'll be cool. So, and then I'll be officially done.
That's what all car guys say, but
unless of course a good deal comes up, then it's like I have to pick it up, So,
right.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So yeah, if you guys didn't know, again, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm not a huge Subaru guy. I don't know too much, but I've been starting to know more because I have friends like Min as well as other Subaru friends. But the WRX from the factory does come with 2-liter turbo engine.
The WRX and STI came with a 2.5.
2.5.
Yeah,
sorry.
it's the newer ones where like the WRXs came with a 2.0, I believe.
Okay.
And the STI still came with a 2.5. Yeah.
So this generation still has the EJ engine, correct?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So the new WRX, the 2015 and up, comes with the FA motor. This are still the EJ. So if you hear the classic Subaru rumble, it is, I guess, the older WRXs as well as the newer STIs still had the EJ motor. So yeah, it's all in all a pretty cool build. Again, you don't see too many WRX hatchbacks. I feel like I see a lot of sedans rolling around more than the hatchbacks.
Yeah.
Was it something you wanted specifically, the hatchback?
Yeah, specifically the hatchback.
Okay.
I don't know. I thought about like the not the reliability, but like the well, I mean of course the reliability, but like the functionality of it too. Like the hatch. I always carry a bunch of stuff. Like I once carried a full interior of a whole nother IS300 in my
Oh
IS300,
wow.
and I drove from Houston, and that was a whole mess. So I did that, and I was like, well, I need something with space, and I didn't really want a truck, and I was like, well, at the time I was working at Subaru, and I was like, well, if I got a Subaru and these hatches are pretty cool, I would know how to work on it, and et cetera, et cetera. Then I was like, well, it's the perfect car. So then I picked it up. Yeah.
Right. It's definitely makes for a fun daily. Turbocharged, all-wheel drive. You have functionality of a four-door as well as a hatch. What else can you ask for? All right. So now that Min kind of talked about his Subaru WRX hatchback, I'm going to talk a little bit about this car. Again, if you guys are subscribed to the channel, you've been watching the videos for a while, you know every single mod of this car since day one is on the YouTube channel. So I also did make a recent video about what's been done to it because I just had my 4-year anniversary of the car. But yeah, just going to mention a few things that I really love on the car. So my all-time favorite wheels, the T37s. This specific model is the T37 SLs by Race, in case you guys are wondering. And I have my carbon fiber Ganador mirrors, another super rare part in the car as well. I like to have these JDM brands or JDM parts, so to speak. I've been hunting for a set for over a year. Finally had a guy from the UK who was willing to let go of them at a reasonable price, so I picked them up right away. And then the front end, my various V2 front end with the carbon fiber front lip as well as carbon fiber canards, and the various Euro GT wing. Those parts I've been waiting for a couple months to get shipped, so definitely parts that are either hard to get or I don't know, part of the waiting process. I don't like it, but I like that not many people have it here in Texas because not many people are willing to spend the money or wait for the parts to get here. But I think there's a bunch of other parts in the car, but some of those parts are the parts that I really like on the car personally. So now that we gave a roughly the introduction, we're gonna dive into the topic. Two things I want to touch on. So the first thing is Subaru against Mitsubishi. Some of you guys might hear of the friendly rivalry. Mine is the Lancer GT. It is not the Evo 10. So I know that argument is not quite valid 100%, but so I mean, you heard of it. I mean, you own Subarus. You have friends who own Subarus. Why do you think that whole Mitsubishi versus Subaru thing kind of came about?
I think it was because, especially since the older generations from like '02, maybe back to even '99 to '07, they all came as sedans, and back in the '99 '01 actually came as coupes too.
Right.
And it was the whole all-wheel drive platform, turbo car from the factory, sedan, and
Right.
it was a lot of rivalry between that in the rally world, which is one of the most common ones in the rally world, yeah.
Yeah.
And then also in the I guess the street racing world too. A lot of people had built Evos, and then compared to the number of people who had built Subarus, it was very little, So I guess just the internet and street talk and whatnot. The power to money ratio with an Evo is definitely a lot higher than the Subarus, but of course there's an upside and downside for a Subaru and an Evo.
Right.
So I can say like an STI transmission is pretty strong compared to like the Evo's transmission.
Evo's
which is,
transmission. Yeah, if you
exactly,
go bad, it's like 10 grand to replace the transmission, so it's not cheap.
Yeah.
But like Min said, pros and cons of both. What's the common problem with the Subarus?
Maintenance. That's like my number one thing I always tell everyone. It's like,
Uh-huh.
oh, you're gonna get a Subaru, you're gonna have ringline issues, you're gonna this and that, But it's like, as long as you're changing your oil on time, you getting your scheduled maintenance done, your car will last forever. Like I beat the hell out of this car, and my tune is pretty awesome too. Again, by Josh Dank, Dank tuned. I don't get much feedback knock, which is like a thing on the access port. And I change it every 3,000 miles. I put fresh oil in it. I don't know. Even working at Subaru, a lot of those guys have built cars, and they put like 100K on the built block with big turbos and whatnot too. But it's like just gotta be up with your maintenance and let it warm up and whatnot, which is a lot of people fail to do. But
Can you specify? So you said ringland issues. That's something I heard about even as a non-Subaru owner. Are there ways to kind of like prevent it?
yeah, just like I said, just change your oil. Make sure you have oil in it. A big issue with the car, well, EJs specifically, is that they kind of burn a lot of oil, which is a thing called a special mod, I guess to say, is an air oil separator. So basically, what it does is just kind of sends the oil back into the engine instead of it getting burnt, sort of,
Okay.
you know. A lot of people have issues with oil getting in the intercoolers and whatnot, so that's what the air oil separator does. It just sends it back into the engine.
Okay.
So it's just like you gotta make sure you got oil in it, make sure you're not beating on it when it's cold.
Right.
But oil is just a very important thing for Subarus. That's why a lot of race cars, especially you saw Super Lap Battle,
Yeah.
they have the thing called a dry sump system, which is just like a whole extra container of oil that they just always feed into the engine.
Right. Right.
So
Okay.
as long as it's lubricated, it's a good engine.
Okay.
I like to say, yeah.
Yeah,
It's-
so I mean, I guess with almost every car, as long if you beat on it, make sure you do your maintenance. Make sure you replace parts that might wear out, because the harder you drive your car, parts tend to wear out a little quicker. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah.
Yeah. It's just one of those things, you know.
Right.
Of course, there's those freak accidents where you're like, I hate to say it, but like maybe like an incline or like a sharp turn or something like that, oil gets swished around, and then
Right.
that 1 second of unlubricated, engine can cause an explosion. But that's when, of course, you gotta be careful with your oil and et cetera, et cetera. But that's any car, really. That's any
Right.
car.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, like me was saying earlier in the conversation about the whole, back in the day when they had rally, so both Mitsubishi and Subaru participated in a lot of rally racing, and both were platforms where they were Japanese cars, they were 4 doors, turbocharged, all-wheel drive, so they shared a really similar kind of platform. So a lot of rivalry, I believe, I might be wrong, from the 90s all the way up to recent until RIP. They stopped production of the Evo 10s. That's something Mitsubishi decided to do in 2015. So yeah, it's kind of like the whole like Chevy and Ford rivalry. You have the Mustang against the Camaro kind of stuff. So in the Japanese world, I would say the two brands that I think they kind of like friendly rivalry the most is Subaru against Mitsubishi. Yeah, but it's all in good fun. I have a bunch of Subaru friends. Min's a great friend. I don't. I mean, I guess there's some guys who are really opposed of the
I
other
don't know.
build.
There's actually which I'll call out, or not call out, or shout out. There we go. That's the right word. Called Austin Super Performance. It's just like an Austin group. Austin of the Austin city limits and the Subaru owners and whatnot. We always add people.
Right.
There's actually a person in there with an Evo,
Hmm.
and happens to be one of the fastest cars in the group. But I don't know. It's just like I said, friendly rivalry.
Right.
Everyone thinks an Evo is a cool car. Everyone thinks an STI is a cool car. It's just the Subaru owners are very I don't know how to say it, like patriotic.
I feel like Subaru owners are more friendly. There's this thing called the Subi wave. Like when you pass by a fellow Subaru, you kind of give it a little Subi wave. Mitsubishi owners, you really don't, because like sometimes, well, especially when I have my car, when I drive around and I see a fellow Lancer or Evo owner drive by, and I kind of nope, they just go on about their day, and I feel like the whole mentality is like I'm better than you kind of mentality. But again, maybe because I own a Lancer, I'm not cool enough. But in
Well,
the Subaru community, I feel like
I think it's a little different. Like you can't. I feel like you can't really wave at people like with a Lancer or an Impreza, like a stock Impreza,
yeah, makes sense.
because
Okay.
if you're buying a WRX or STI or an Evo, you're aware that it's a sports car,
That's
and
true,
and you
yeah.
know what you're getting yourself into.
That's
So
true.
then it's like, oh, I have a cool sports car and I'm getting it because of this reason. So then
Right.
that's why when you see someone else is like, hey, I bet you love your car too, and it's like a wave. So that's why the Subi wave, it's definitely a thing, unless you're like a VA owner. No one no one waves to those, or no one waves back at least. And so that's why it's mainly with the WRX and STI owners,
Okay.
less like the other cars like Foresters and Outbacks and whatnot. So yeah.
True. And thank you for watching the video. This is Justin for J Media. I'll catch you guys in the next one.